Psychological thriller Evil is back for a second season exclusively on Paramount Plus this time around. And joining me now is Katja Herbers, who plays a psychologist investigating some unexplained mysteries. Well, first of all, congrats on a successful first season and now a season 2.
Thank you so much.
I was watching some of the trailers, Katja, and I have to say it looks like pretty intense. So for those who haven't had a chance to check out season 1, sort of get us caught up on what people can expect.
All right. So the premise of the show is that I, a forensic psychologist, team up with Mike Coulter's character, David, who works for the Catholic Church, and Ben, who's played by Asif Manvi, and the three of us investigate unexplained phenomena and try to figure out if they have a scientific explanation or if there's something truly supernatural at play. Now that sounds kind of like a mouthful, and but you got to watch the show because it's a really, really wild ride. It's both very scary, very funny, very unlike anything that's on TV right now, and it has really great characters who have a lot of depth and who are I think are very much worth spending time with.
Yeah, a lot of people who like the show a lot talk about that there's, the layer of the investigation, of course, the, scary stuff as well. But the relationships between your character and especially David, played by Mike Coulter, is pretty interesting because there seems to be a little bit tension between the two of you.
Oh, you betcha. Yeah. I mean, I think they are both sexually and intellectually attracted to each other, and also are genuine friends. So, and obviously Mike Coulter's character is on a path to ordination. So he has to be celibate and there can't be any, action there. But I do think they both actually think about it. My character is married, but my husband's away for 6 months out of the year. I think that will they, won't they dynamic is definitely there, and you'll have to tune in to see if they will or if they won't.
Yeah, it sounds like they're going to struggle a little bit with the temptation factor. So, Evil is described for season 2 as coming closer to home. What do they mean by that?
I think what they mean by that is that Evil is now closer to me, like to the protagonists of the story. I have, for some reason, in the first season, you see that this character, Michael Emerson, who kind of embodies evil, has it out for me and wants to, is after my children. And there's a serial killer who is after my children, and it's unclear why. But I protect my children from this serial killer without spoiling anything. And that kind of raises the question of, am I now, evil for having protected my children or not? And so in that way, it's closer to home. It's closer to these characters, and they have to morally grapple with a lot of things. And there's a lot that they can't explain.
It sounds like there's nothing evil about a mom trying to keep her kids safe. So I will say that. Now, what drew you to the role? Right? I agree. What drew you to this role? Just because I'm sure when you read the script or when you had the audition, it sort of seemed sort of far-fetched at first. But of course, when you watch it, it's got a lot going on. It's a really, really cool show.
Well, Robert and Michelle King, the creators of the show, have a resume that is astounding. So they made The Good Wife, they made The Good Fight, and I'm a fan of both those shows. Their writing is just off the charts, amazing. So it was really the writing, and then also the type of people that they cast in their shows, the actors that I get to work with. Like, we filmed the show here in New York, and the guest actors are people who've won Tonys on Broadway. So you get to work with literally the best of the best. And I think, the prospect of all of that sounded amazing to me, and I wanted to do it.
You're like, sign me up. That sounds very cool. Okay, Katja, tell me a little bit about the scary demon we see in some of the trailers.
Well, there are a bunch of demons this season, a bunch of different ones. The first season obviously had George, for the people who've seen the show, which I think it's very funny that our demon was named George. He was this person demon that I saw in my nightmares, and who was kind of funny and goofy, but also very scary. And this season we'll see Asif Mansvi's character, Ben, who's a pure skeptic, is now all of a sudden having nightmares and is visited by a demon called Abby. And Abby is kind of a sexy demon who kind of really flirts with him. And so he's like half turned on by this demon, but also appalled. And there's, I really like how our show always walks the line between any one emotion. Like nobody's ever any one thing. Nobody's ever just scared or just so that's
First episode of Evil is streaming now on Paramount Plus with new shows dropping weekly. Katja, you sold it. If anyone watches this interview, they are watching the show for sure.
Great. Thank you, Gianna. Appreciate it.